I stood before the altar, fingers wrapped tight around the wooden edges of the podium, my pulse hammering like a war drum beneath my ribs. Rows of faces were turned toward me, guests murmuring in low anticipation, the soft music of string instruments floating through the air. In just a few minutes, Emily was supposed to walk toward me, the moment that was meant to be the happiest of my life. But an hour earlier, as I was straightening my tie in the dressing room's mirror, everything cracked. Emily had stepped in quietly, her white dress trailing behind her like a dream. She looked breathtaking, but the light in her eyes wasn't joy. It was something I couldn't name: hesitation, guilt, fear. "I need to talk to you," she said. I smiled faintly, thinking it was nerves. "What about?" "We're minutes away from getting married." Her fingers knotted themselves together. "It's about Michael." The name slammed into me like an icy wave. Michael. The ex she'd sworn was gone from her life, the ghost we'd spent months exorcising. Now, on our wedding day, she had spoken him back into the room like a curse. My chest went tight. "What about him?" I asked, my voice taut as wire. She drew a trembling breath. "He's here. He called me last night. Said he needed closure. I invited him." Time stopped moving. The air left my lungs. "You what?" I managed. Her tone turned into a whisper. "He's not here to ruin anything. He just needs a moment." I told him he could sit in the third row. The third row? Right behind our families. In direct view of the altar. The place where our future was supposed to begin. "Are you even listening to yourself?" My voice sharpened, cutting through the room like glass. She reached out, brushing her fingertips toward mine. "Please don't be angry. I didn't tell you earlier because I knew you'd overreact." Overreact. The word burst from me, incredulous, my heart clenching. "You think it's an overreaction for me not to want your ex sitting at our wedding?" I owe him this. I need it for closure," she stammered. Something inside me cracked clean through. My hand slipped from hers like it had never belonged there. "No," I said, steady and low, the sound more final than any shout. "You don't need closure. You need to decide." Her breath hitched. "Don't do this," she whispered. But it was already done. I walked past her, out of the dressing room, past the altar prepared for vows, past the roses and the candles and the hundreds of eyes waiting, past the future we had built in our heads. I didn't stop. Outside, the cold air struck my face like a slap. My chest burned, my breathing ragged. Inside, people still thought I was waiting at the altar, but I was gone. I passed the limo meant to take us to the reception. The driver looked at me with confused eyes, but I didn't pause. I just kept walking, one foot after another, each step heavier than the last. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Emily. Her name glowed on the screen. My thumb hovered over the answer button. For a heartbeat, I almost picked up. Almost. Then I remembered the look in her eyes. Not sure, not proud, not a bride about to commit, but someone wavering between two worlds. I powered the phone off, exhaled, and disappeared into the night. The hours after blurred into shadow. I drifted through the city streets until I stumbled into a dim bar with a cracked neon sign. It smelled of wood and old whiskey. I slid onto a stool, and before I could speak, the bartender poured me a glass. "Rough night?" he asked. "You could say that." The liquor burned all the way down, but I welcomed the sting. Each swallow was a torch to burn away her words, her face, her choice. She had said she needed space for her ex. On our wedding day. Last call came. I had no destination. My phone stayed dark until I finally turned it on again. 36 missed calls. Emily. My best man. My mother. I didn't need to hear the voicemails. I already knew the chorus. "Come back. Let's talk. Please." I opened social media instead. A photo stared back at me. Emily at the altar, standing beside Michael. My stomach knotted at the caption. When the past meets the present. The comments were chaos. Guests speculating. Blurry photos of them leaving together. Had she run to him the moment I left? Had she always been waiting for an excuse? I didn't want to know. It wouldn't matter. She had chosen her moment. I had to choose mine. That night, I erased her. Every photo, every message, every trace. Blocked her number. Packed a bag. Left the city with no forwarding address, no goodbye. I turned myself into a ghost. 2 years passed. A quiet town, a modest apartment by a river, a different job that didn't demand my soul. I learned how to breathe without the weight of what had been. I learned to like the silence. But the past is patient. It always finds its way back. One evening, stepping out of a small coffee shop, I felt a shift in the air, like someone had spoken my name without sound. I looked up. There she was. Emily. Her hair cut short, her eyes older, carrying a sadness I'd never seen. She hesitated, then crossed the street, arms folded around herself as if the world were too cold. "Ethan," she said. "Just my name." It hit like a wave. "How did you find me?" I asked, my voice rougher than I expected. She gave a weary smile. "I never stopped looking." Silence opened between us, heavy and full. "I need to explain," she said. "You don't," I answered. "I do." Her voice shook but didn't break. "After you left, I fell apart. Michael. He was just there. I thought he could fill the emptiness. But it only made everything worse." She took a breath, a tremor running through her. "I thought I needed closure. But all I did was lose you." Her voice cracked on the last word. "I never wanted him. I wanted you. I just realized it too late." Her confession didn't soothe me. It only made me feel tired, like someone reopening an old scar. "You don't have to say that now," I murmured. A tear slipped down her cheek. "I know. But I had to try." "Do you still love me?" she whispered. There was a long pause, a silence that felt like a lifetime. "I did once," I said at last. The words settled like stones between us. She nodded slowly. "I'm sorry, Ethan. For everything." I nodded too, not because I forgave her, but because I'd finally put the weight down. "Goodbye, Ethan," she whispered. And I watched her walk away. This time I didn't follow.